Hello, my name is Corey Michael Sanchez here today with Mojo Video Marketing, joined on this line with George Brown, who's going to talk a lot about video marketing as it relates to SEO. And I'm really excited to have him on board. I found him through the web, found him on YouTube. He knows a ton about YouTube optimization. Let me just give you a background, a brief background on George Brown, because he's done a lot of things in his life, as well as be on panels that have involved Tony Robbins, that have involved Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield. But in addition to that, he's taught workshops all over the country on a variety of motivational and marketing issues, include sales and marketing and search engine optimization, as well as social network marketing and social media marketing. And so he has designed and managed IT products for corporations. He's helped entrepreneurs successfully bring new products to market. And he is also an online marketing consultant for entrepreneurs. And he's also got a book out that you should check out for sure. It's called Internet Marketing Synergy. And you can definitely find that online. I'm sure if you Google it, you'll be able to find it. But, you know, he's got extensive background in not only how to shoot video, but really how to get found with video. So he's got a lot of experience in sales, project management, human development. So I'm happy to introduce today George Brown. How you doing, George?
Pretty good. Kind of blushing after that intro, huh?
Well, you know, this is all essentially true. And you know, it's interesting because when you find out about, you know, speakers and people you have on webinars, you always ultimately find out about some interesting things that most people never even knew. And you know, it was fun talking to you last week, and you were talking about how you were actually on panels, expert panels with, you know, experts like Tony Robbins and Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield, and they came up to you afterward and said, you know, I've never heard of you before, but you know, I'd love a copy of your book. And you told me you were still working on it at that point, right?
I resisted for years. It ended up that we kept hiring these speakers to come out and talk for companies, and what ended up happening was every time we turned around, we'd have somebody like Anthony Robbins come out, and they'd always say, you know, where's your book? And I kept just admitting, I'm just a geek. And so it kind of changed after that, after a while. So one of the ideas that I really enjoy is doing the marketing side, but I'm still a geek. So I thought that, as we talked about last week, it'd be interesting to cover an old video that I had, which was 10 tips for optimizing YouTube. And this video you can find, and one of the things that I like doing is whenever I look at you know, a person, you know, is claiming to be an expert or claiming, you know, that they do anything, I always, you know, want to go through and see if there's proof of what they talk about. So what I always do is that if somebody says, well, I can get you to the top of Google, or I can get you to the top of, you know, YouTube, I go, oh, okay, let's check them out. So what I use as a example would be to go into YouTube and do SEO Expert. Now, mind you, I haven't posted anything in 8 months, but when I look at the first page, I always know that right here, because of today, I brought up the George Brown Talks About YouTube. So this is for this viewer. And so when, you know, a lot of people look at this and they say, wait a minute, you know, that's not that hard, is it? And I kind of pause and I say, you know, this is out of 5,800 different videos is on this topic. And so I'm on the first page, and if I'm in the active cycle of selling, I am usually 10 of these top 20. Now, some people go and pause and say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? So if we scroll down just a little bit, oh wait, there's George Brown, but by the way, that's not me. And if I scroll down just a little bit more, oh wait, there's me, and wait, no, this gets ridiculous. And so as you go through these, it's a very simple process to actually get listed on here. And what's more important is that a lot of these topics, if you can get listed in YouTube and get your items on these pages, especially the first page, what that'll do is tie into your other videos and to your SEO as a whole. Search engine optimization is a really hot topic. So is social network marketing and social media marketing. So what I thought I'd do is, is not only can you see this video, and we just saw where you can find it right under SEO Expert, but this video tells you about the top 10 tips that I used to give. Now, just for you, Corey, I created 5 more. And so the first thing that I did was I looked at it and I said, what is the biggest mistakes that I see people do? And the number one mistake I see people doing these days in YouTube is not setting up their account correctly. And so in a profile itself, under YouTube, you have an area for text. And it's off to the left-hand side, and it's about the presenter. So when you first create a YouTube video, you should never just put up the video. You should put up a channel. So you should name that channel something, and when you name the channel, make sure that it's on the keywords that you want to be found under. So my example would be SEO Expert. So when I create a channel, inside my own username is first my name because I wanted to be able to be found under it. I also, because George Brown is a very, very common name, an example would be in the state of Illinois, there's 119 George A. Browns. So can you imagine when you just leave it as George Brown? So
Totally.
When I do that, I go ahead and I use something like what I am. So I use SEO right after it. I oftentimes use the examples of Mr., Mrs., etc. because that's a great way if you have a common name to actually get your username. Your username is going to be part of the way that this is found. So when you're using the titles and when you're using everything else, you need to make sure that your channel is created with your keywords in the title of the channel. So that's one level. The second level would be then when you get into the profile and you're making this channel, they ask you, what is this channel about? And it's funny, but you would think that YouTube, being an entire service built around videos, cares more about the text associated with the video than the video itself. So just writing the correct amount of words in your profile. An example would be, I usually suggest around 250 words. So you want to write 250 words on your topic. So if you are going to be an SEO expert, you need to write about 250 words on that. Now, I say that this is kind of small because really what they like is 500 words. How I do this is I go into Word and I open up a Word document and I start typing about whatever my topic is. And I keep using under Tools, there is word count. And word count will tell you how many words you're at. That's the first level. So first I have to come up with 500 words. Now the next step is it has to be optimized. And the optimized is to have 6 to 9% of your words to be your keywords. So out of every 100 words, you have to have a percentage of it saying SEO expert as our example. So as you write it, you have to keep thinking. Now, I always say that you should try to be a little bit of Bart Simpson's Being in Trouble, where he has to write on the board over and over again, you know, whatever his punishment is. Well, that's kind of the idea. When we go and look at things, we oftentimes say, you know, if I was to say Mojo and Corey, well, a lot of people would write a paragraph that said, an absolute great video service is Mojo Video. And then they would go on to feature some things. But the problem is that you have to keep repeating your keywords. So it'd go through and say, you know, Mojo is hosting a webinar, and Mojo is doing this, and Mojo is doing that. And a lot of people, when they read it back, go, wow, I'm a little embarrassed because I had to mention my name 15 times in 500 words. So they have to be careful about not being too shy about using their name. Google used to have a joke that said the most amount of websites are about I, we, and me. We offer this, I offer that, you know, etc. And nobody talked about who we were and I was. So you have to go through and make sure that you're actually putting your name, your keywords in the profile itself. So just setting up your profile and your channel is a very important tip. The second tip would be the title of the actual video itself. Now, what a lot of people do is they go into the titles and they'll put in a title itself, they'll put in something like cute kittens and, you know, things that they know are being searched under. the problem is that you're going to have a bunch of people who show up to see cute kittens and not to buy your product. So you do want to go ahead and be, SEO expert. Notice how it's changed in color right here because I did a search for SEO expert, but it's not my entire title. Now,
Right.
if you had a brand, so if I was to write this for you, it would be Mojo Video, SEO or video experts, talk about YouTube. Now, this last part, believe it or not, is usually what everybody thinks is the most important part, but it's usually just the title of today's topic. And because I have to broadcast a lot of these to get to the top, the most important thing is having my key phrases being shown. So I build my brand, so my brand goes first. Then my keywords go next, and then finally the actual topic of the video itself, because this last part will be the part that changes all the time. So what happens is that how do I get up here every time? Because when people look for either my name or SEO expert, I'm going to come up over and over again because my videos are consistent. So when you're creating these, make sure that your titles are consistent. The titles are a big thing for searching. So when you're creating them, just think brand name first, your keyword second, and then your actual title of the video. I don't care really if your title of your video is one word. Make sure that your keywords are the important thing. So I usually try to keep my actual daily or the video that I'm working on to about 3 to 4, maybe 5 words. The rest is all going to be the keywords that I want to be found under. Also, tip number 3 is add your URL to every one of your videos. When you're submitting a brand new video, it asks you the second question. It says first question is, what is the title of your video? Second question is, and it says optional, and I see that a lot of people leave this blank, is they say the URL of this video. So what can you do? You can actually tie it back directly to your own website, and that's important for Google to see. So now Google, you go onto your site and you put a link out to your YouTube video. You go onto YouTube and you put a link back to your website. Suddenly Google sees that that is actually 2 different links to the same video. And this is important to Google and to YouTube because both YouTube and Google think the same way, that these videos are made to share. So the more places that you're broadcasting that this is available, the higher your ranking is. So make sure that you go through and add your URL in the title area. It's right at the top. It'll say, what is your optional area? If you don't have it, then you should be able to put it somewhere on your own website. So just like here, this is that video. This is not hosted on my site. It goes out to YouTube. But I have a link on my site to YouTube. So it's a very easy, idea to do. Tip number 4 is ask your viewers to jump through some hoops. I know this is kind of, sounding a little bit salesy, but my issue is if a person won't actually click on something to see more information, or if they're not going to give you their email for, let's say, a free ebook or something like that, they're probably not going to buy your product or service.